Greetings, YouTube. I appreciate everybody who continues to reach out to me to tell me about bugs and Battlegrounds issues. Because here's the thing. Kabam can say all they want about a beta test being a beta test. I hate the term beta test when it's on the main server. I feel like the term beta test should only apply to something on a beta server. And if it's a experiment on the main server, they should call it something else, because you're spending real units and real energy refills, and who knows, maybe real cash to purchase more energy refills. Certainly, if you spent cash on units and then you bought something like the new Uncollected or Cavalier Event Quest completion offer, like I did for the 1,000 units, then you are actually spending cash for a beta test. We cover it on the channel, won't go into heavy detail, all of the cheating that's going on in Battlegrounds right now. It is historic. Some people are saying that it's a good thing because you're able to, it's almost like getting a lamp and putting the cockroaches out in the light. And while I get that analogy and I get that sentiment, the problem is that that doesn't make the people who lose to the cheaters feel any better, because of course they still drop in the rankings and risk hurting themselves overall in the final placements of the rank rewards. You know, just because you lose to a cheater doesn't mean that loss is worth any less points than if you lost to somebody who plays fairly. So, with that being said, we've also identified two main bugs, besides the one we're about to watch from my man, the Family Man. Bug number one is the classic bug that either doesn't load the fight or doesn't load the end of the fight. So you'll knock the defender out, and then it'll basically be the spinning wheel of death, and the screen will go black. The only way that you can do this, but of course fights are now 1:30 instead of 2 minutes, so it makes it harder, is to quit out, restart the fight, and of course, if the timer determines the winner, even if you win the fight twice and somehow count it, you will probably lose the round if your opponent has a good fight. The second glitch, which has happened to a couple people, including somebody who narrowly, very well-deservingly beat me, is that you can't tell who you're selecting on your team. So it's like an invisible glitch where you're just kind of hoping and praying you select people, but sometimes it won't even let you select it and it just auto-selects it. That can obviously lead you to selecting a team that you don't want. Although I would argue everybody in your Battlegrounds team should be somebody that you would be happy to use as an offensive, defensive, or both, or they shouldn't be on that if you can help it. But this bug is the force field bug. This is like the chaperone at a school dance that's keeping you between your date because, you know, don't want to get too physical. Or maybe the escalator bug is a better way to put it, because it looks like the treadmill is causing this person to run in place. And you can see that there's nothing either of them can do. It's like there's a force field between the two of them. And if this happened to me, I don't think I would have a choice. I would have to immediately quit out and restart. But the problem is, some of you have told me that if you've done that, you automatically lose the fight, according to you. I haven't seen this on my own account, so I am just navigating the information from those that have sent this to me. But in this case, like, imagine you're on a hot streak in Battlegrounds, right? You've won 3 or 4 matches in a row. You're in, say, the top 1,000. You're in a good spot, you feel like, to compete for those juicy rank rewards, and then you run into this. And suddenly, you know, you're going to either, I haven't tied before, but you think you're either going to tie, or if this isn't happening to your opponent, you're just going to lose. So there is a timeout here, but you'll notice that it doesn't even say timeout immediately like it would. It's just frozen. And at this point, especially if this is like your first match, you have a choice to make. Are you going to restart the app and hopefully have your next one load? Or are you just going to keep watching this and see what happens? I'm actually amazed, for the sake of the Family Man's roster. By the way, I haven't seen too many Mr. Fantastics in Battlegrounds, so hats off to bringing your Mr. Fantastic in. I'd love to feature some gameplay of a high-ranking Mr. Fantastic. I still don't know a whole lot about Mr. Fantastic, and therefore I feel like he is incredibly underrated. At least on my channel. So, yeah, has to restart it, go to Battlegrounds, and he just lost. And not only did he lose, but it didn't even register that he had a single fight. You know, normally it would give you a red or blue, but in this case, it's just 15 wasted energy as far as I can tell. So the nightmare treadmill bug is back. It has come to bargain, and you will not bargain with it. You will lose. So, Family Man, thank you for the info. I'm sorry this happened to you, but I appreciate that you put this out for the community to see.